I should have known something was off when she told me to come late. My wife's 32nd birthday dinner. She'd picked some upscale place downtown called the Meridian. Made reservations weeks in advance. Bought a new dress she charged to our joint account without mentioning it. Spent 2 hours getting ready. When I asked what time we were leaving, she said she was meeting everyone at 7. I could come at 8. Come at 8? It's your birthday dinner. Why wouldn't I be there from the start? She barely looked up from her makeup mirror. The girls are coming early for drinks. You'd be bored. Just show up for dinner. The girls. That's what she called them. A rotating group of women she'd met through her yoga studio and some networking events. I'd never actually met any of them. Every time I suggested we all grab dinner together, she had an excuse. But fine. It was her birthday. If she wanted drinks with her friends first, whatever. I showed up at 8 like she asked. The hostess led me to a large table near the windows. 10 people. My wife sat at the center, laughing at something a blonde woman next to her was saying. Everyone had drinks. Appetizers were already on the table. I walked up, put my hand on the back of my wife's chair. Hey, sorry I'm late. She barely glanced at me. Oh, you're here. Not, hey honey, we're glad you made it. Just you're here. Like I was the delivery guy dropping off food. I looked around the table. Nobody made eye contact. A couple people nodded. Most just kept eating. So, I said, keeping my voice friendly. You gonna introduce me to everyone? My wife picked up her wine glass, took a long sip. Then she turned to me with this tight smile that didn't reach her eyes. Maybe in a bit. We're catching up right now. I laughed. Thought she was messing with me. Catching up? Come on. I'm your husband. Let me at least know who I'm sitting with. The blonde woman next to her looked uncomfortable. Guy across the table suddenly found his phone fascinating. My wife set down her glass. Looked me straight in the eye. Introduce you to my friends? I have a reputation to maintain. Dead silence. Someone's fork clinked against a plate. That was the only sound. I stared at her, waiting for the punchline, waiting for her to laugh and say she was kidding. She just stared back, stone cold serious. Something clicked in my head. All those times she made excuses about why I couldn't meet her friends. All those events she went to alone. All those photos she posted online where I was conveniently cropped out. I wasn't forgotten. I was hidden. I stepped back from her chair, looked around the table at these people who wouldn't even make eye contact with me. Your reputation is safe now, I said. Then I turned and walked out. Didn't look back. Didn't wait for her to call after me. Just left. I made it to my car before my phone started buzzing. Text after text. All from her. Where did you go? You're embarrassing me. Get back here right now. You're being childish. I turned the phone face down on the passenger seat. Started driving. I wasn't angry. I was clear. For the first time in months, maybe years, I was seeing everything clearly. I was halfway home when my phone buzzed again. Different number this time. I didn't recognize it. I pulled over, checked the message. Hi, I was at the dinner tonight. I'm Natalie, the one sitting at the end of the table. I think we should talk. There are things you need to know about your wife. I sat there in my car, engine running, staring at that message. Then I typed back. When and where? We met the next morning at a coffee shop 3 blocks from my office. I got there early, ordered black coffee, sat by the window. Natalie showed up 5 minutes later. Tall, brown hair pulled back, business casual. She looked nothing like the other women at that dinner. No designer bag, no flashy jewelry, just someone who looked like they had an actual job. She sat down across from me, didn't waste time with small talk. I'm guessing your wife didn't tell you I got kicked out of the group 2 weeks ago. She didn't mention you at all, I said. Natalie smiled, but there was no humor in it. Yeah, that tracks. I'm persona non grata now. Had the nerve to call out some behavior I didn't agree with. What behavior? She pulled out her phone, started scrolling. How much do you know about what your wife does with these women? Not much. She says they do yoga, grab lunch, networking stuff. Networking. Natalie laughed. Is that what she calls it? Let me show you something. She turned her phone toward me. Group chat screenshots. Dozens of them. I started reading. My wife's name appeared constantly. Almost every message was about money, status, or putting someone down. Did you see what Lauren wore to brunch? Target clearance rack. My husband actually suggested we cook at home more. Like I'm some housewife from the 50s. Can't believe Jessica thinks she can hang with us. Her car is literally 8 years old. I kept scrolling. My stomach tightened. Then I saw messages about me. Had to leave early. Husband wanted to spend time together. So needy. He asked if he could come to dinner Friday. I said I had plans. Can't have him cramping my style. Why did I marry someone so ordinary? Should have held out for someone successful. I looked up at Natalie. She was watching me carefully. There's more, she said. A lot more. But I wanted you to see the basics first. Why are you showing me this? She leaned back in her chair. Because I spent 6 months with these women before I realized what they actually are. They're not friends. They're a competition. Everything is about who has more, who looks better, who married up. Your wife is one of the worst. That doesn't explain why you're here. I'm here because 2 weeks ago, I made the mistake of suggesting we do something charitable. Volunteer work. Something with substance. Natalie shook her head. Your wife laughed in my face. Said charity is for people who need to feel important. Then she convinced the others to cut me out. So this is revenge. No. Natalie's expression hardened. This is the truth. Your wife has been lying to everyone, including these women, and I'm done watching her get away with it. She scrolled to another set of screenshots. Bank statements. Credit card bills. All with my wife's name on them. Where did you get these? I asked. She left her phone unlocked at lunch once. I saw the banking app open. Took photos. Natalie looked me straight in the eye. She's got 4 credit cards you probably don't know about. Total balance is over 40,000. All maxed out. I felt cold. She tells everyone she comes from money, Natalie continued. Trust fund. Family estate. All lies. I did some digging. Her parents live in a rental in Ohio. Her dad drives for a delivery company. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not the story she's selling. Why would she lie about that? Because the truth doesn't fit the image. These women only respect wealth. Your wife wanted in, so she invented a background. Designer bags bought on payment plans. Expensive dinners she can barely afford. All of it funded by debt and your income. I set my coffee down. My hand wasn't steady. There's something else, Natalie said quietly. She's been telling people you two are separated. That you're just roommates until she can afford to leave. That you're holding her back from her genuine potential. I looked at Natalie. We're not separated. I know, but she's setting the stage. Making herself the victim. So when she finally leaves, everyone will be on her side. The poor woman trapped with an ordinary man who couldn't give her the life she deserved. I sat there processing everything. The lies. The debt. The secret life she'd built. Why tell me all this? I asked again. Natalie stood up, grabbed her bag. Because you deserve to know who you married. And because I'm tired of watching people get away with being terrible. She put a business card on the table. Her name. Email address. Phone number. If you want copies of everything I showed you, let me know. I saved it all. Then she walked out. I sat there for 20 minutes, staring at that business card. My phone buzzed. Text from my wife. Where are you? We need to talk about last night. You made me look foolish in front of my friends. I didn't respond. I picked up Natalie's card and sent her an email. I want copies of everything. Natalie sent everything within an hour. Screenshots. Photos. Even voice recordings from group dinners where my wife had bragged about things that never happened. I spent my lunch break going through it all. Each file was worse than the last. Credit card statements showing purchases at stores I'd never heard of. $1,500 for a handbag. $800 for shoes. $3,000 at some boutique in the city. All charged in the last 6 months. Bank statements from an account I didn't know existed. Opened in both our names. She'd forged my signature. Had to be. I never signed anything. The account showed constant transfers. Money moved from our joint checking into this secret account, then immediately spent. That explained why our savings never grew. I thought we were just breaking even. Turns out she was bleeding us dry. I called the bank during my break. Yes, Mr. Bradford, that account was opened 4 months ago. Joint account. Both signatures on file. Can you tell me the current balance? Negative $240. You're past the overdraft limit. I thanked them and hung up. Negative balance. On an account I never opened. I went home early. Told my boss I had a family emergency. Not technically a lie. My wife wasn't there. Out with friends, according to the calendar on the fridge. Some spa day she'd written in for Thursday afternoon. I started searching. Found the first credit card statement tucked in a shoebox in her closet. Capital One. Balance, $14,000. Minimum payment 2 months overdue. Second card in her gym bag. Chase, $13,000. Also overdue. Third card in the glove box of her car. Discover, $9,000. Fourth card I found in a random cookbook she never used. Store card from Nordstrom, $5,000. $41,000 in debt I knew nothing about. I took photos of everything, every statement, every bill, every late payment notice. Then I put them all back exactly where I found them. She came home at 6, carrying shopping bags from Sephora. "Hey," she said, not looking at me. "Didn't expect you home already. Slow day at work." She set the bags on the counter, started unpacking makeup. Foundations, palettes, brushes. Had to be $300 worth of products. "How was the spa?" I asked. "Fine. Needed it after last night." She still hadn't looked at me. "We should probably talk about your little scene at dinner." My scene? Walking out like that. Making a spectacle. Very mature. I leaned against the doorframe, watched her organize her new purchases. "You told me you had a reputation to maintain. I was just helping you maintain it." She finally looked at me. "Don't be dramatic." I was joking. Didn't sound like a joke. Well, it was. "You're too sensitive sometimes." She turned back to her makeup. "Anyway, I'm going out tomorrow night. Dinner with the girls. Don't wait up." "Where are you going?" "That new steakhouse on 5th. The expensive one." "Who's paying?" She froze for just a second, then continued organizing. "We split it." "What?" "Just curious how you're planning to split a bill at an expensive steakhouse when our joint account is almost empty." Her hand stopped moving. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the fact that we should have at least 5,000 in savings right now. But we've got maybe 800. Where did it all go?" She turned around slowly. Her expression was careful, controlled. "Bills. Groceries. Normal expenses. Money goes fast. Does it? Or did it go to designer handbags and shoes?" Her jaw tightened. "I don't like what you're implying." "I'm not implying anything. I'm asking a direct question. Where did our money go?" "I already told you. Bills and expenses. If you paid more attention to our finances instead of just assuming I handle everything, you'd know that." Genuine gaslighting. Textbook stuff. I smiled. "You're right. I should pay more attention. In fact, I think I'll start reviewing all our accounts this weekend. Make sure everything adds up." Her face went pale, just for a second. Then she recovered. "Fine. Do whatever you want. I have nothing to hide." She grabbed her phone and walked out of the kitchen. I heard her bedroom door close. Lock click. I stood there thinking about those credit card bills. The secret account. The lies she'd told her friends. Nothing to hide. Sure. That night, I couldn't sleep. Lay there staring at the ceiling while she scrolled through her phone next to me, laughing at something. Around midnight, her phone buzzed. Text message. I saw the name on her screen before she could hide it. "Natalie." My wife's entire body tensed. She opened the message. I couldn't see what it said, but I watched my wife's face change. Shock, then anger, then something close to panic. She typed back fast. Deleted it. Typed again. Deleted again. Finally, she just set the phone down and stared at the ceiling. "Something wrong?" I asked. "No," she said quickly. "Just drama. One of the girls being annoying." "Which one?" "Nobody you know." I rolled over, pretended to sleep. But I was wide awake, mind working through everything I'd learned. The debt, the lies, the fake reputation. She'd built an entire identity on my paycheck and borrowed money. Told everyone she was someone she wasn't. Made me the villain in a story she'd invented. Tomorrow I'd call a lawyer. But tonight, I let her think she was still in control. Let her think her secrets were safe. They weren't. Friday morning, I took a personal day. Called a lawyer Natalie had recommended. Guy named Richard Caldwell. 30 years of family law experience. His office was downtown. Clean. Professional. No nonsense. I laid everything out on his desk. The credit card statements. The secret account. The screenshots from Natalie showing the lies my wife had told. Caldwell looked through it all without expression. When he finished, he leaned back in his chair. "This is fraud," he said simply. "She forged your signature on a joint account. Opened credit cards using your information. That's identity theft. Can I prove it? The bank has the signature on file. We can get a handwriting expert if needed. But honestly, most judges will see through this pretty fast." He tapped the credit card statements. "These purchases, did you authorize any of them?" "No." "Do you have receipts? Any of these items in your possession?" "She hides most of it. I found the statements, but the actual products are probably stashed somewhere I haven't looked." Caldwell nodded. "Doesn't matter. The pattern is clear. Unauthorized use of marital funds for personal luxury items. Combined with the deception, you've got a strong case for divorce with fault. How long will it take? Depends on whether she contests. If she fights, could be 6 months to a year. If she accepts terms, could be done in 90 days. What are my odds of keeping the house? You rent or own? Rent. 2-bedroom. Lease is in both names. Then it's just a matter of who stays and who goes. Given her financial irresponsibility, I'd say you have a good chance of taking over the lease solo. She'd need to prove she can afford it. Based on what I'm seeing here, she can't. I felt something settle in my chest. Clarity. Direction. What's my next step? Caldwell pulled out a legal pad, started writing. First, open a new bank account. Just your name. Transfer your portion of the joint funds there. Leave her half untouched. We document everything. Done. Second, cancel any joint credit cards. She can't rack up more debt in your name. What if she already has cards I don't know about? Pull your credit report. Today, check for any accounts you didn't open. If you find something, we file a fraud claim immediately. I nodded, taking mental notes. Third, Caldwell continued, document everything. Every lie, every purchase, every conversation. If she threatens you, record it. If she destroys property, photograph it. We build an airtight case. How much is this going to cost me? Retainer is $3,000. Hourly after that. Based on what I'm seeing, if she doesn't fight, you're looking at maybe 5 to 7 total. If she contests everything, could go higher. I thought about the $40,000 in debt she'd racked up. $7,000 for a lawyer seemed like a bargain. Let's do it. We spent the next hour going over paperwork. I signed the retainer agreement. Caldwell drafted an initial separation document. By noon, I walked out of his office with a plan. Step 1, finances. I went straight to my bank, opened a new account, transferred half of our joint checking, left her half alone. She'd have access to her money, just not mine. Step 2, credit report. I pulled it on my phone while sitting in my car. Found 2 accounts I didn't recognize. Both credit cards. Both opened in the last year. Combined balance, $18,000. I called Caldwell immediately. He told me to file fraud claims with both companies. I did it right there, sitting in a parking lot, filling out dispute forms on my phone. Step 3, evidence. I went home while she was out. Searched more carefully this time. Found a storage bin in the back of her closet, filled with designer shopping bags. Tags still attached to half the items. A jacket that cost $1,200. A purse worth $2,000. Shoes I couldn't even pronounce the brand name of. I photographed everything. Documented the tags, the prices, the dates on the receipts stuffed in the bags. Then I found something else. A folder tucked under the storage bin. Inside were printed emails. Correspondence with someone named Marcus. I started reading. They weren't romantic. No affair. Just business discussions. Except the business was a scheme. My wife had been planning to start a luxury lifestyle blog. She'd contacted Marcus, some social media consultant, about building her brand. The emails outlined her strategy. Target audience. Affluent women aged 25 to 40. Content focus. Luxury lifestyle, designer fashion, exclusive experiences. Another email. Need to establish credibility first. Show followers that I live this lifestyle authentically. Once I hit 10,000 followers, we can start monetizing through sponsorships. Everything clicked. The designer purchases. The expensive dinners. The constant photos she posted online. It wasn't just about impressing her friends. She was building a fake persona to launch a business. All funded by debt and my income. I photographed every page of that folder. My phone buzzed. Text from my wife. Where are you? Thought you had work today. Took the day off. Running errands. What errands? Just stuff. Be home later. I put the folder back exactly where I found it. Closed the storage bin. Left her closet looking untouched. Then I called Natalie. I need a favor, I said when she answered. Name it. Your wife mentioned a charity brunch next month. Some fundraiser thing. Is that still happening? Yeah, it's a big deal. All the women are going. What? I need details. Date, time, location, everything. There was a pause. Then Natalie laughed. Oh, this is going to be good. Can you get me the information? Already have it. I was invited before they kicked me out. I'll send you everything. Thanks. One more thing, Natalie said. Whatever you're planning, make it count. These women need to see what she actually is. They will. I hung up and drove to Caldwell's office. Showed him the folder, the emails, the business plan built on fraud. He read through it all, then looked at me with something close to approval. This changes things, he said. She wasn't just spending recklessly. She was deliberately defrauding you to fund a business venture without your knowledge or consent. What does that mean for the divorce? It means she's going to lose. Badly. I left his office with divorce papers ready to file. All I needed was the right moment. The charity brunch was in 3 weeks. Perfect timing. 3 weeks of playing normal. 3 weeks of watching her post photos online with captions about living her best life. 3 weeks of listening to her talk about the upcoming charity brunch like it was the social event of the century. She'd bought another new dress for it. $500. Put it on a credit card I'd already reported as fraud. The brunch was on a Saturday morning. Some hotel ballroom downtown, benefiting a children's hospital. Tickets were $200 per person. My wife had bought her ticket weeks ago, told me she was going with the girls, told me not to wait up because they'd probably go shopping after. I didn't tell her I'd be there too. Natalie had gotten me a ticket through a friend who couldn't attend. I wasn't on the guest list officially, but I had legitimate entry. That was important. Couldn't have security throwing me out before the main event. Saturday morning, my wife spent 2 hours getting ready. Hair, makeup, that new dress, jewelry I'd never seen before, but probably cost a fortune we didn't have. She looked at herself in the mirror, smiled, took a selfie. Have fun, I said from the doorway. She barely glanced at me. Thanks. Don't wait up. She left at 10:30. The brunch started at 11. I waited 20 minutes. Changed into a decent suit. Nothing fancy, just professional. Then I drove downtown. The hotel ballroom was impressive. Crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths, flower arrangements that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. About 60 people mingled around, mostly women, all dressed like they were attending a wedding. My wife stood near the front with her group. 5 women I recognized from the birthday dinner. They were laughing at something, champagne glasses in hand. I stayed near the back. Natalie spotted me, gave a subtle nod. She was sitting at a table on the far side, next to a woman I didn't recognize. The event organizer, a woman named Patricia Whitmore, stepped up to the microphone at 11:15. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for supporting the Children's Hospital. Before we begin brunch, I'd like to acknowledge our top donors. She started reading names. People stood up, smiled, waved. Polite applause. Then she paused, looking at a paper in her hand. Her expression changed slightly. I'm sorry, there seems to be a small issue. We've had a payment declined. If anyone had trouble with their donation check, please see me after the program. My wife's face went rigid. She glanced at the woman next to her, whispered something. I watched from across the room. Waited. Patricia continued with announcements. The brunch service started. Waiters brought out plates. Conversations resumed. I approached Patricia during a lull. Introduced myself quietly. Mrs. Whitmore, I think I can help with that payment issue. She looked at me with polite confusion. I'm sorry, do we know each other? Not officially, but I believe my wife wrote one of the donation checks that bounced. I'd like to clarify the situation. Her expression shifted. Professional, but guarded. Which donor are you referring to? I gestured across the room. My wife was talking animatedly with her group, completely unaware. Patricia's eyes widened slightly. I see. Perhaps we should discuss this privately. We stepped into a hallway outside the ballroom. I showed her my phone. Bank statements. The fraud claims. The credit card debt. She's been writing checks from an account that doesn't have funds. I explained. I only discovered this recently. I'm in the process of filing for divorce. I wanted you to know this wasn't intentional fraud against your organization. She's been running a scheme for months. Patricia's professional demeanor cracked. How much did her check claim to donate? What was the amount? $5,000. I almost laughed. She doesn't have $5,000. She has $40,000 in debt and an overdrawn bank account. Patricia looked back toward the ballroom. Several of the women here mentioned she comes from family money, old wealth. She's been very vocal about her charitable giving. All lies. Her parents live in Ohio. Her dad drives delivery trucks. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not the story she's been telling. Patricia processed this information. I could see her putting pieces together. There's more, I continued. She's been using my income and fraudulent credit to fund a fake lifestyle. Everything you see is borrowed or stolen. The dress she's wearing today, charged to a card she opened in my name without permission. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm tired of watching her lie. And because your organization deserves to know that her $5,000 pledge is worthless. You should remove her from your donor list before she makes you look bad. Patricia looked at me for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. Thank you for the information. I'll handle this appropriately. We walked back into the ballroom. I returned to my spot near the back wall. Patricia went directly to my wife's table. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I watched my wife's face change. Confusion, then defensiveness, then panic. Patricia walked away. My wife stood up quickly, followed her. They disappeared into the hallway. The women at my wife's table started whispering. Heads turned. Conversations shifted. 5 minutes later, my wife came back alone. Her face was pale. She grabbed her purse, whispered something sharp to the woman next to her, and walked toward the exit. I stepped into her path. She stopped dead, stared at me. What are you doing here? Supporting charity. Same as you. Oh wait, you weren't actually supporting anything, were you? Your check bounced. Her eyes darted around. People were watching now. This isn't the place. Seems like exactly the place. You wanted a reputation to maintain, right? Let's talk about what that reputation is actually built on. Move. 40,000 in debt. Secret credit cards. Forged signatures. A business plan to scam followers online. Should I keep going? Her face flushed. You're insane. Am I? Because I've got bank statements, credit reports, and fraud claims that say otherwise. I also have emails you sent to that consultant. Marcus, right? The guy helping you build your luxury lifestyle brand on stolen money. Someone gasped behind us. I didn't turn to look. My wife's hands shook. We can discuss this at home. No need. I pulled an envelope from my jacket pocket. We can discuss it through lawyers. I handed her the divorce papers. She took them automatically, stared at the envelope like it might bite her. You're divorcing me? Now. Here. Seemed appropriate. You care so much about appearances. Thought you'd appreciate the audience. Her eyes filled with tears. Fake ones. I'd seen her cry for genuine reasons before. This wasn't it. Please, she whispered. Don't do this. I'm not doing anything. You did this. Every lie. Every fake story. Every dollar you stole. This is all you. I stepped around her and walked toward the exit. Behind me, I heard her call out. Wait. We can fix this. We can work it out. I didn't stop. Didn't look back. As I reached the door, I heard another voice. One of her friends. Did he just say 40,000 in debt? Another voice. She told us she had a trust fund. Someone else. The check bounced. Are you serious? I walked out into the hallway, into the elevator, out to my car. Sat there for a minute, engine off, just breathing. My phone buzzed. Text from Natalie. That was beautiful. Half the room is talking. The other half is pulling up her social media to see if it's all fake. You just destroyed her reputation in under 5 minutes. I texted back. She destroyed it herself. I just made sure people knew the truth. Another text came through. This one from my wife. You humiliated me. How could you do that? I typed back one sentence. You humiliated yourself. I just stopped paying for it. Then I drove home, packed her things into boxes, and left them by the door. She could figure out where to go next. That wasn't my problem anymore. 3 months later, I signed the final divorce papers in Caldwell's office. My wife hadn't fought it. Couldn't actually. Once her lawyers saw the evidence, the fraud claims, the forged signatures, they advised her to accept terms. Fighting would have meant criminal charges. She got nothing. No alimony. No shared assets. The court ordered her responsible for half the debt she'd created, though I doubt she'll ever pay it. That's her problem now, not mine. The apartment lease transferred to my name only. She moved out 2 days after the charity brunch. Went to stay with her parents in Ohio. The same parents she'd claimed didn't exist in her fake backstory. Her social media went dark immediately. Every post deleted. Every carefully crafted image of luxury living erased. Someone told me she'd started over with a private account under a different name. Good luck building a brand on that. The group of friends scattered. Natalie told me most of them stopped talking to each other within weeks. Turns out when your entire friendship is based on competition and status, and one person gets exposed as a fraud, everyone starts questioning everyone else. 2 of the women reached out to apologize. Said they'd felt uncomfortable with how my wife treated me, but didn't know how to speak up. I appreciated the gesture, but didn't pursue friendships with them. Some bridges are better left burned. Natalie, though, became a genuine friend. Not romantic. Just someone who valued honesty and had the guts to do the right thing. We grabbed coffee once a week, talked about work, life, normal things. It was refreshing to have conversations that didn't revolve around impressing people or maintaining appearances. Work improved too. Without the constant stress of managing my wife's secret spending, I could focus. Got a promotion 2 months after the divorce. Nothing dramatic, just recognition for consistent performance. Came with a modest raise. I used some of that money to fix up the apartment. New furniture, actual cooking equipment since I was preparing meals at home now. Small things that made the space feel like mine. One Saturday afternoon, I was assembling a bookshelf when my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Hi, this is Patricia Whitmore. We met at the charity brunch. I straightened up. Mrs. Whitmore, how can I help you? I wanted to reach out personally. After our conversation, I did some digging into the situation. I felt terrible about what happened, and I wanted to let you know that we've tightened our donation verification process because of it. That's good to hear. I also wanted to thank you. What you did took courage. You could have let the situation play out privately, but you protected our organization from potential embarrassment. That matters. I just wanted people to know the truth. Well, the truth helped us avoid a much bigger problem. We discovered 2 other donors who'd made questionable pledges. We're addressing those now. She paused. I'm also calling because we're hosting another fundraiser next month. Smaller event. More intimate. I'd like to invite you. No charge. Consider it a thank you. I thought about it. I appreciate that, but I'm not really the fundraiser type. Fair enough. But if you change your mind, the invitation stands. We said goodbye, and I went back to the bookshelf. A month later, I ran into one of my wife's former friends at the grocery store. The blonde woman who'd been sitting next to her at the birthday dinner. She saw me, looked like she wanted to bolt, then changed her mind and walked over. Hey, she said awkwardly. I don't know if you remember me. I remember. I wanted to say I'm sorry. For that dinner. For not speaking up. That whole situation was messed up. It was. But it's over now. She nodded, shifted her shopping basket. For what it's worth, we all knew something was off. The stories didn't add up. But nobody wanted to be the one to call it out. Easier to just go along with it. Until it collapsed. Yeah, until it collapsed. She looked at me directly. You did the right thing. Leaving that night. Exposing the truth. She needed to face consequences. She did face them. I know. She called me a few weeks ago. From Ohio. Wanted to reconnect. I didn't call back. Probably smart. She smiled slightly. Yeah. Well, take care of yourself. You too. She walked away, and I finished my shopping. That night, I sat on my new couch, eating dinner I'd actually cooked, watching a show I'd picked without anyone judging my taste. My phone buzzed. Text from Natalie. Coffee Thursday. I've got a story about my new job you'll appreciate. Sounds good. Usual place. Perfect. I set the phone down and looked around the apartment. Quiet. Simple. Honest. No designer bags hidden in closets. No secret credit cards. No lies about who I was or what I could afford. Just a regular guy with a regular job, living within his means, surrounded by people who didn't require performance or pretense. My wife used to say I was ordinary, like it was an insult, like being ordinary meant being less than. She was wrong. Ordinary meant authentic. It meant living without the constant pressure to be someone you're not. It meant building a life on truth instead of debt and deception. She'd wanted extraordinary so badly that she'd built a castle made of lies. And when the foundation cracked, the whole thing came down. I didn't need extraordinary. I just needed genuine. And for the first time in years, that's exactly what I had. The divorce was final. The debts were separated. The lies were exposed. My wife was in Ohio, probably spinning new stories to new people who didn't know better yet. But that wasn't my concern anymore. I'd removed myself from her stage. Stopped funding her performance. Let the curtain fall on a show that never should have been running in the first place. She'd asked me at that birthday dinner if I was going to introduce myself to her friends because she had a reputation to maintain. I'd told her that her reputation was safe now. Turned out, her reputation was never what she thought it was. And when the truth came out, there was nothing left to maintain. Sometimes the best revenge isn't dramatic confrontation or elaborate schemes. Sometimes it's just walking away and letting the house of cards collapse under its own weight. She built her castle on lies. I built my life on truth. Only one of those structures was still standing.